Boar's Head is bringing a slice of Japan to the deli. Introducing Boar's Head Ichiban Teriyaki-style chicken. Tender, slow-roasted chicken breast, coated in our signature teriyaki glaze, where ginger, garlic, and a hint of brown sugar meet for a flavor that's both sweet and savory. New Boar's Head Ichiban Teriyaki-style chicken. The bold flavor of Japan. Now at the deli. Only from Boar's Head. Compromise elsewhere.
Blog Talk Radio.
Well, good afternoon, folks, and thank you for tuning in with me once again to the newly branded, brand new first edition of True Capitalist Radio. Like I said in last evening, but yesterday's program, that we are going to steer away from any kind of conservative politics, any kind of rhetorical nonsense that pretty much goes into one ear and out the other ear in today's America. And if you check back into the archives at the official website of the True Capitalist Radio Show, that's blogtalkradio.com/ghost, you'll see about 4 years. 4 years of dedicated, passionate, emotional broadcast as it pertained to the conservative principles, as it pertained to the conservative ideology. But as one takes a good whiff of America, folks, it just makes me sick. It makes me nauseated. I mean, it makes me feel like I should be going in line and collecting a bowl of soup. I mean, I'm not joking here, folks. I mean, America, as far as the politics is concerned, as far as conservatism, liberalism, any kind of isms out here that are in the game of political interpretation, it's nonsense. I mean, it's utterly nonsense. So at this point in time, folks, this way, all right? At this point in time here, we are going to change the format. Now, this is a True Capitalist Radio. I don't want you to have me mixed up with somebody who's going to give you some stock picks or somebody that's going to, sit here and try to pump and dump some ideas. Absolutely not. We're going to still have the same brash ghost, the man that you've come to know and love. As a matter of fact, I think I've gotten a little bit more risque because, let's be frank, folks. I mean, if you've been keeping up with the blog, I have been reaping the financial benefits of all my speculations and living large, sipping on Cavassier. As a matter of fact, I'm sipping on some sauce right now. I'm sipping on some Cavassier right now. Let me sip on it. Very good. But anyway, folks, it's going to be the same man here. We're going to talk about current events. We're going to talk about what is in the interests of general America, general world interests. But for the most part, folks, I would like to gear everybody's mental energies. Everybody who's an avid listener of this podcast, whether live or in the archive, I would like to gear them towards a more capitalist perspective. I would like to suggest to them that we should no longer be, conducting ourselves in any more political games any longer, because as we can see, folks, the politics it's garbage. I mean, it's utter nonsense. I mean, both sides of the aisle politicize issues that shouldn't even be politicized, from terrorism to acts of terrorism to... I mean, I don't even have to tell you. If you've been living in today's America, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So at this point in time, folks, this is why this is a new edition, a brand new first edition of the True Capitalist Radio. Now, I know I'm going to probably lose a lot of listeners that like to hear me talk nonsense about liberals. And let me tell you, I'm still no fan of liberals, all right? I don't like liberals. All right? I don't like these bleeding hearts who want to sit here and tax me so that they can somehow spread the wealth as they see fit, as some all-seeing, powerful bureaucrat. I don't agree with that. Still don't agree with that. But as far as the conservative principles that I used to embrace, and not only embrace but amplify on this program and other medias, I'm going to go ahead and take a step back. I'm going to take a step back from all that rhetoric because there's no need to continue to play this nonsense political game. I mean, all one has to do is investigate themselves, whether looking at the boob tube mainstream media and taking a good whiff at how ridiculous this political game is, or go do your own search on the research on the internet. Excuse me. It's nonsense. And once again, folks, I challenge you, go to my website, blogtalkradio.com/ghost, and just take a look at 4 years, all right? I don't mean to get obnoxious here, but 4 years of dedication in an attempt to relay some sort of political substance out there to anybody who is listening. I'm talking about passionate broadcasts, folks. They're going to be there to stay. Time-dated and stamped, political prognostications that fell on deaf ears, and all it did was get me a bit of a high blood pressure problem, heart conditions, all this other nonsense that I really didn't need. So, all that aside, I feel as though that we need to go in another direction as this show is concerned, and I know that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be pissing and moaning. They're going to be pissing and moaning because I'm not, I don't know, talking about liberals. But inevitably, folks, we're going to be talking about a whole barrage of different ideas. But the focal point is getting people into becoming capitalists. Capitalists. When everybody hears that word, I mean, even American people, the average American schmuck in today's world, whenever they hear the word capitalist, they think of some disgusting, slick-back-haired shyster, who's flipping a nickel, and kicking back with some kind of pinstripe suit, trying to mooch you for the last dollar that you're worth. I mean, I think that's just a disgraceful display of how suggested ideas via the media have somehow skewed the interpretation of what a true capitalist is. And what is a true capitalist? Well, a true capitalist is somebody who understands that the way we exchange goods and services, the idea of being able to network through our developments of services, products, whatever the case might be, connections, those things can be capitalized on as opposed to being some kind of collective idea of just, doing it because of the good of the people. I am going to work 12 hours a day because I am going to do it for the good of the people. And for all you folks that know, that's communist collective ideology, and that's something that I am never going to embrace, nor should anybody who's out there listening to my broadcast embrace. But a capitalist understands that, you want to get what you put in. I mean, it's as simple as that. I mean, if you're one who understands certain trends, if you're one who understands certain markets, if you're one who understands something that can be capitalized on. Now, of course, like with every interpretation, every idea, we're going to have bad apples. We're going to have people that become greedy. We're going to have disgusting scoundrels that are going to, be poster children for the left and for those that are against capitalism that are going to be used to justify why capitalism shouldn't even be in existence. But inevitably, what makes capitalism work is the fact that we have a system, whether it's in America or any political system in the international community, that has the ability to implement a rule of law. Without rule of law, capitalism cannot properly flourish, and any interpretation in a lawless land of capitalism is nothing more than the person having the biggest gun or the person having the most people around them, and that's not capitalism. Capitalism is an opportunity-based system. It gives people the opportunity to innovate, create, for the sake of capitalizing on their services, on their ideas, on their products, on their speculations. But of course, the left and those commies, that want to talk about capitalists being disgusting scoundrels with, slick back hairdos and, talking with pompous ass vernacular. Well, that's just utterly ridiculous. It's just utterly, pathetically ridiculous. Without this system of capitalism, none of the great innovations, the leaps of civilization wouldn't have taken place. The Industrial Revolution, the technological revolution, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. This conversation we're having right now, folks, you're listening to me on the internet via internet radio. We would not have this in existence had somebody not been inspired to create this particular internet product so that we may conduct this type of broadcast. And that's what makes capitalism so beautiful. And what's unfortunate in America today, because of this disgusting leftist media, and because of other suggested ideas and, I guess socially accepted nonsense, America has turned itself into some sort of I don't even know what to say, but, a gutter socialist idea. And all you have to do is look around you. It doesn't matter what part of the country you're living in today's America. You're going to see a lot of people that are going to try to justify themselves, kicking back and living off of taxpayer entitlements, whether it's unemployment, whether it's the damn food card, whether it's, public housing or the housing voucher program, whether it's free health care, free this, free that. Everybody's getting everything free. And everybody's just kind of sitting back thinking it's just going to go on forever and ever and ever. And how did all these little welfare systems start? How were they created? Well, folks, that's what's the unfortunate part about the system of capitalism. Whenever capitalism is embraced, even at the most slightest point in any international system, any political system, you're going to have the fight between those that are within the private industry, those that actually invested in whatever market it is, whatever country or whatever political system it is, those that invested, and the political system itself. This is what we're having here today in America. We're having a bunch of political bureaucrats trying to assert their vulgar display of power because, quote unquote, the American people elected them. And because of that, they're trying to take away opportunities for potential capitalists. And on top of taking away opportunities for potential capitalists by regulating and taxation, they're utilizing that taxation to give to whoever they see fit. That's what's disgusting about this whole this display of supposed American idealism in present-day America. It's disgusting. Case in point. In today's America, if you happen to have a couple of, 30 or 40,000 in the bank account, and let's say that you wanted to parlay that 30 or 40,000 into manufacturing toys for children, because hey, that's a pretty big market at this point in time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, let me tell you something. These bimbos are shitting out children like they're going out of style. I mean, they are literally trivializing the whole concept of life. They're shitting out 4 or 5 children before they're even financially stable to take care of themselves. I mean, they've got 4 or 5 children and they're living at Mammy's house with brother's 3 kids, and I mean, it's a total disgrace. But case in point, there are going to be markets for children's toys. I mean, there's a lot of children, these people don't want to take care of their children. They throw them in front of a boob tube, in front of a video game, or in front of some toy that'll, keep them occupied for a few hours so that, mommy or daddy or whoever's raising this kid can go out to some hump bar somewhere and, hop on the pogo stick of somebody that looks good in a leather jacket. Meanwhile, we have, kids out here that are raising themselves with these, disgusting programs and these damn toys out here. Anyway, I don't mean to get political. I know that you're going to occasionally hear me go off like that, and I apologize. But anyway, let's say you wanted to parlay that 40 or 50,000 into a toy company manufacturing toys for the children. Well, thanks to this liberal regime that's in power today, and I'm not trying to get political here, but it is pertaining to capitalism. Thanks to this over-regulated American little system that we got going here, you're not going to be able to manufacture children's toys. You're not going to be able to do these things. You want to know why? Because it's the regulated market. It's got to go through all these little bureaucratic tests, and you've got to account for these little bureaucratic tests that are in some big book of paperwork that, these damn bureaucrats, wrote into law because the people, put them into power, and they feel that they can be, Johnny Do-Good and implement all these so-called regulations for supposedly, helping the American children from toxic toys. And, the funny part about it, whenever they, implemented these regulations, not only did it wipe out any independent toy makers, and I don't know if you noticed, folks, there's not that many independent toy makers anymore. Isn't that correct? You go to a damn toy store, where's everything made? China, Taiwan, wherever the hell else they can buy it. You're not finding any toys made in America because of the over-regulation that has been done by this government into private enterprise. You have to go through so many bureaucratic tests that it literally cost $1 million to put your manufacturing toy line, if you happen to be somebody who wants to get in the toy business, $1 million so that you can show the government, look, we passed your little bureaucratic tests. We passed your little book of bureaucratic nonsense. And who has the money? Who has that kind of money to get through bureaucratic tests that are going to cost you $1 million so that you can sell toys to the general American public, thanks to this liberal regime? Who has the money? Well, none other than the big multinational conglomerates. The multinational conglomerates out here that the liberals supposedly hate so much and everybody hates so much. And lo and behold, even though we have all this over-regulation when it comes to toy manufacturing, we're still finding that where there's high levels of lead, high levels of, disgusting chemicals and ailments. I think there was one toy that even had the date rape drug in it. There was a toy manufactured that was supposedly approved by this government that got passed around that actually had the date rape drug in it. This is how disgusting, this disgusting, hypocritical, bureaucratic nonsense that we're living in. And that's why I am relaunching this broadcast as True Capitalist Radio. Because that's what it comes down to. If you want to make a true change, if you want to make a true impact in today's society, then you need to become a capitalist. You need to understand that the only thing that talks is assets and how much you can accumulate of them. And once you accumulate those assets, that's when you can start manipulating these dumb bureaucratic bozos that are supposed to be representing the people in office. I'm not trying to be, somebody who's, some psychopath Gordon Gekko here, but I'm a realist, folks. I'm a realist, all right? I'm not some conservative anymore. I'm not going to sit here and embrace this nonsense that society is obvious, or at least this society is never going to be again. This society has embraced some ridiculous social ideas, ridiculous nonsense that's just become the social norms. The whole idea of conservatism has been hijacked by something that is just completely whacked out. And when I say completely, I underscore that with the most emphasis. It has gone completely berserk. And this is why this is the number one. You are listening to groundbreaking radio right now. The number one edition of the True Capitalist Radio Show. I didn't mean to get off on that tirade, folks. As a matter of fact, let me take a sip of this Cavassier here. On the rocks, of course. Some good stuff there. Unfortunately, folks, like if you've been keeping up with the blog, I've been reaping the financial benefits of all the speculation that I've done. I'm drinking every day because, who really gives a damn at this point in time, right? Buying the best threads, trying to do whatever it takes to, pacify all the ugliness that is in American society. So this is why I'm changing the format. I want to help Everybody out there who gives a crap, anybody out there who's truly listening, I want to help them to become a capitalist. I want to help them get themselves out of their rut. I want to help them get themselves out of their self-loathing, self-deprecating mentality and get them out there and participate in the capitalist system. Because there's a capitalist system going on out there, folks. All right? And it's not just in America. It's all over the place. All right? And like I've made a suggestion to everybody out there that's listening, all right, especially the young people. You young people out there need to realize that for the next 2 years, this is your last time frame, last amount of time frame for you to gather up some capital and to be able to, you know, and I hate to say this about my own country, but I think you need to get the hell out of here. I think that everybody out there that's listening, that's smart, that wants to, you know, live in civil society where, you know, people aren't, you know, savagely butchering each other because of ridiculous rhetoric or because, oh, man, you got 2 bags, baby. You got 2 bags. I ain't got no bags. That ain't fair, baby. That kind of mentality. And let me tell you something. That type of mentality is going around rampant all over this disgusting, despicable America. And I hate to say this about my country, but I think that people need to start looking into emerging markets. You know, I hate to admit this, you know, since I've been not doing the show and since I've been conducting myself on a more capitalist front out here in my personal life and been reaping the rewards of that. As a matter of fact, I'm no longer doing the program at my home. As a matter of fact, I sold my home for a considerable profit amongst a whole bunch of other transactions that I conducted myself in. I'm actually talking to you from my office, and that's the beautiful part about it. I got an office in a building, that's the centralized point of my business operations, and that's the way you should be living. Everybody should be living like this. The problem is that people need to understand their limits. People need to understand their limits as a person, their abilities. Not everybody's going to be the big badass, dropping. Making it rain every night on, some bimbo. It's not going to happen, all right? For all you people that are like, yes, I want to be a capitalist, I want to make money, I want to drive in limos, and I want to be the best, and I want to do this, it's not going to happen, all right? What you need to understand is your limitations, what your abilities are, and on top of which, to be a badass capitalist, you have to never stop learning, ass clowns. And I know that's a hard thing to do for American people because... if there's anything that's going to disrupt them from their American Idol watching or, watching the latest bimbo on the E-Entertainment Channel, anything that's going to interrupt them from that is just not conducive, and they're probably going to ignore it. But if you want to be a true capitalist, and if you want to be somebody who really makes money, and you want to be somebody who's going to be happy with your life, and not, continue to make yourself excuse after excuse after excuse that, oh, I can't do it because the world's against me, and I can't do it because there's too many. All right, stop it with the excuses. Listen to the True Capitalist Radio Show, and you're going to get yourself up your asses. And if you don't, it's because it's your fault. Frankly, it's your fault. Anyway, folks, I want to hear from you. I mean, are you suffering from some financial situations that you don't know how to get yourself out of? I mean, are you thinking about making a business move? I mean, let me know. I would love to advise you. 646-652-4869. I mean, let's get serious here. All right, I'm a capitalist, and I hope that you're a capitalist too. All right, I mean, I know that, if you listen to the archives at blogtalkradio.com/ghost, you're going to hear a lot of old conservative emotion. And let me tell you, it's not to say that I don't believe in the things that I've said any longer. I'm just not going to, continue to live by it, nor am I going to continue to promote it. Because where did it get me? It got me nowhere. It got me a bunch of milky lickers calling me up, prank calling me because they thought it was a big gag. It got me a bunch of jerk nuts, listening to my broadcasts and having the rhetoric go in one ear and out the other. I have politically prognosticated everything that has already come to pass, and it's not like anybody give two rats' asses about it. But gosh damn it, it didn't mean anything. So now I'm going to go a completely new direction, True Capitalist Radio. This is the first edition. And I hope that you're appreciating, and I know that I may lose a lot of listeners because I'm not talking about liberals, and I'm not talking all this stupid rhetoric that Rush Limbaugh, has a circle jerk around every morning. But the bottom line is, folks, is that we need to become capitalists, and we need to start, thinking about our own well-being. Let's stop worrying about, look at those people, they're suffering, and these people are suffering. Look, if you're living in America, there should be no reason anybody's suffering. You know who is suffering right now in America? The middle class. You want to know why they're suffering? Because these are the people that are actually maintaining the meat of all the taxes collected. And as a result of all this, they're dwindling. They're being squeezed. And on top of being squeezed, they're shrinking because of the lack of economic opportunities, the taxations, not only on a federal level, but on a state level, depending on your state. I mean, speaking of state taxes, did you hear what's happening in Illinois, for heaven's sake? Oh, geez. Talk about a story here. Straight off of, ridiculous leftist hell. The state of Illinois is about to become a failed state. They just bamboozled the people down there, the citizens of Illinois, throwing in some late-night amendment to up the taxation, up the personal income tax. And believe me, states, depending on your state, they actually do garner some of your income tax money. So out here in Texas, there's nothing like that. So thank God. But I know this is not uncommon for the state to be garnishing wages for personal income, state personal income tax. But they just upped it 66%, or whatever the hell it is, 66%. So that they can pay off this $90 billion debt, or whatever the hell they've incurred, because of all the unions and pensions and entitlements. And I don't even know where to start. But this is the kind of nonsense I'm talking about here in America, folks. I mean, you need to start worrying about your personal well-being. Just imagine those poor folks in Illinois who don't even know what hit them. I mean, the only reason that I know these things is because, well, I'm a business capitalist. And I frankly urge all of you folks to listen in. And if you want to get the real news, if you want to actually get news from a mainstream media source that means anything, watch business news. Doesn't matter what network you get your business news from, watch the business channels. That's where the real news is. You're not going to get it. You're going to get rhetoric. You're going to get talking head talking points from any little stupid network that you get your news from. Business channels. All right, let me take a sip of my Cavassier here. But that's what I'm talking about, folks. As a capitalist, you need to be very aware of what's going on your municipality, on your state government, and, of course, the federal government. Because these things can taxate the hell out of you. And why should one be taxated? Because they are good at financial speculation. Because they made a product or service. I mean, can somebody answer that? If there's a leftist out there that thinks I'm just some disgusting, greasy capitalist that's, got some slick back hair and flipping a nickel, I want you to give me a call right now, 646-652-4869, if you think I'm wrong. I mean, if you think I'm wrong, I'm leaning back, upon my desk right now, and I'm looking out in the city. I actually have a office out here in the city. It's where I'm broadcasting from currently. And I think to myself, why isn't everybody living, not necessarily like this, because it's a game, folks. I mean, not everybody's going to live the same. If everybody was going to live the same, it'd be freaking communism, all right? And I don't want communism. I know there's a lot of losers out there who have already come to the realization that they're never going to be the big star. They're not going to be the American Idol. They're not going to be the big actor. So, communism in their loser eyes sounds great because, they're already kicking back on entitlements, watching Maury Povich, shoving bonbons down their gullet like a freaking garbage disposal. So they think communism is great. I don't. All right, I don't want everybody to have the same thing. I think everybody should get what they put in, and that's what capitalism provides, and that's why I'm embracing, and I think everybody out there should embrace the capitalist endeavor. 646-652-4869 is the number to call here. Once again, folks, what we need to understand as capitalists also is not just taxation, but opportunities. Opportunities, and there's a lot of people out there that are, want to become capitalists. They're pissing and moaning. I want to go out there and become a capitalist, but I just don't know what to do. I got my money. I don't know. And what happens after that, folks? Well, they give all their money, their whole freaking life savings, to an asshole like Bernie Madoff. All right, and then they wonder why they get ripped off in the end. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, folks. It just doesn't make any sense. Let me take a sip of the sauce here. They give their whole life savings to a Bernie Madoff. Now, who's the real sucker there, really? I mean, who's the real idiot? Is it Bernie Madoff accepting these morons' life savings in an attempt to try to profit, or is it the morons that are giving them their life savings in hopes of getting Bernie Madoff to profit for them? I just don't know who the bigger idiot is. Let's be honest, folks. We have to take personal responsibility for our own financial front. We cannot depend on financial advisors and these assholes in the financial industry to get us by, all right? I mean, people need to get up off their fat asses. We have this beautiful tool called the Internet where one can go out and learn about anything that they want to learn about, whether it's finance, whether it's business, whether it's, shelters, whatever. They have all the opportunity in the world, and yet what do they want to do? They want to sit on their fat asses and complain. That's what capitalists don't do. Capitalists take the initiative, they never stop learning, and they never stop growing, folks. Never stop growing, and I hope you're a capitalist. All right, if you're a capitalist, I'd like to hear from you, 646-652-4869. On top of which, folks, you can Twitter. Send me a Twitter at Ghost Politics. We're going to be changing that Twitter name, and we're going to be changing the email address also, ghostpolitics@yahoo.com, because we're no longer going to talk about politics. We're talking about capitalism. We're talking about ways that we can obtain revenues to be better capitalists. I also want to help those out there that think that they just can't become one. They think, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't have a good job. I want to hear from you, folks. But anyway, I also want to talk about a little bit about what's happening here on some of the emerging markets fronts. When I speak about emerging markets, I know there's people that get confused about what the hell I'm talking about. I'm talking about those markets that are out there that are budding, that are barely establishing themselves in capitalism, that are, barely establishing a legitimate monetary system and a rule of law that's legitimate to conduct business. And the reason that I'm, kind of advising those that are listening to me to obtain as much revenue in America as possible within the next 2 years and possibly invest into emerging markets, because in emerging markets, whatever revenue that you obtain in this particular market in America, and depending on where you funnel that particular money, whether you're going to keep it on an American bank or whether you're going to keep it in a stock, whether you're going to keep it in a bond, whatever, if you transfer that particular instrument to whatever financial system of whatever country or whatever emerging market you're potentially investing in, that money will go a hell of a lot farther than it would if you were to go into not just America, but some of the European countries. All right? That's all there is to it. People are asking, should I invest in Chinese or Indian stocks? Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I would invest in Chinese stocks, but at this point in time, I think they're a little high. You could probably find some a little low. The reason I'm saying Chinese stocks are going is because the growth of China is just unbelievable. Tim Geithner today, I think he was at Johns Hopkins University giving a speech on, if I'm not mistaken, if it was today, I don't know if I could be mistaken. So much news bombarding, you got to be able to decipher this like a computer. But I do remember him saying in this speech that China is growing at such a rapid rate. I mean, it's just unbelievable growth for China that it's actually a deterrent for emerging markets of growth. I mean, it can actually deter economic activity on an international level. So what I'm saying is that China, if you want a pretty safe bet for investment, I wouldn't not say no to Chinese stocks if that's where you're going. I think Chinese stocks is not a bad place, given the fact that the country seems to be economically solvent. Every quarter they're posting surpluses. I think China's looking pretty good. India is not a bad market either. It's just the rate of growth that India is growing is nothing compared to China. And you can take a look at how many billionaires are being produced out of both of these countries, and you'll count the amount of billionaires in both countries and realize, wait a minute, China has got the second most billionaires in the world. That'll tell you that there's some definite economic growth, in stocks and other investments that you throw in that particular market are going to be safe. There seems to be a rule of law that seems to going to be around for a while. I mean, whether you agree or disagree with the politics, inevitably they're producing, and when you produce, that's what makes you profitable, and that's what makes you more important in economies or in economics. So if you were asking me, Felix, in the chat room, should you invest in Chinese or Indian, I would definitely go Chinese, if you wanted my personal opinion. But there's so many other financial instruments, Felix, to get into. I mean, not just stocks. I mean, there's just there's commodities futures. As a matter of fact, like I said, if you folks had listened to me within the past year or so, you probably would have made yourself some money listening to some of my, not only my stock tips, but commodities tips. And if you want to get a little commodities tip now, I think that everybody should be eyeballing oil at this point in time. From now until the end of summer, I think oil, what is it, 90-something a barrel now? It's 90-something a barrel. I guarantee that it will hit $100 a barrel by the summertime. So for all you folks that are, listening in, this is one of my prognostications for the first edition of the True Capitalist Radio Show. I am putting my name on the line saying that the barrel of oil will go $100 a barrel by summer. And if you know how to trade futures and all that other nonsense, we'll go ahead and do that. But if you don't, well, I'm not going to sit here and give a demo about, how to trade futures. I'm sure there's a brokerage house somewhere that's got a whole damn, little slideshow or some movie that'll teach you how to do it. Another thing, I got another question here. Is gold overvalued? Well, that's a trick question about gold. I will personally believe gold is overvalued, but I don't think it's going to go down in price. Like I've said, even when I was talking as a political, pundit, so to speak, there's a lot of gold pumpers right now. I hate to say that word; sounds like something XXX or something, but there's a lot of people pumping gold. If you take a look at any of the news channels and take a look at the advertisements on those particular channels, it's all gold. Oh, yeah, gold this, gold that. Oh, look at this gold, that gold. So let me tell you, I think it's overvalued. I think the true value of gold right now, if you want my personal opinion, is $800 an ounce. But I do believe that within the next 3 years, 4 years, I would not be surprised to see gold at $3,000 or $4,000 an ounce. $3,000 or $4,000 an ounce. And the reason why I'm saying it is because you take a look at the market today, all right? You take a look at how many people that are being bamboozled into believing that gold is somehow some commodity that's just so valuable that it's never going to lose its value and it's just going to go up. What people don't understand about economics is that gold is just a shiny rock. If the monetary system collapsed, gold is not something starving people or a society that's trying to get by on barter. Gold is not something people are going to give two craps about, in my view. And this is the basis of most people's pumping of gold. They're saying, hey, you got to get gold because if the monetary system goes down, you're going to have to get gold, and it'll be worth a fortune. And no, absolutely not. It's a shiny rock. It's a shiny object. I mean, a lot of people base the currency or whatever country's currency upon gold. But inevitably, folks, I would definitely say that gold is overvalued, but it's not going to go down. And I think it's a very good investment. And I hate to say this because, I'm not trying to pump gold, believe me. But just look around you. Look at all the gold companies that are coming out of the woodwork. Look at all the people that are saying, hey, we'll give you gold futures and gold bars and gold this and gold that. I mean, there's a market out there. And the more people accumulate gold, the higher it's going to go up. The more people pump gold, the higher it's going to go up. The more the government spends of the taxpayer money, the more the gold's going to go up. So I see nothing but, really high points for gold. I know that it's at about over $1,300 an ounce, and that's pretty high at this point in time. I know there's people cashing out that bought in to that commodity about 10 years ago. They're cashing out now, reaping the benefits. But if they would have just hung in there, and I think that if people that are investing in gold, if they would just hang in there for about 2 or 3 years, I guarantee you're going to see those prices of gold go 2, 5, 3, maybe even 4,000 at its best case. Because remember, America loves a good bubble, America loves a good bubble. So let me tell you, Felix, I would buy gold right now. If it's going to go down at all, it may go down another $100, but something that as you continue to accumulate gold, it'll offset as you accumulate as time goes by. The thing about gold, though, is that you got to be careful of where you store it. You got to be careful where you buy it. There's a lot of unscrupulous brokerage houses that are getting into the gold business, and you got to be careful with them, Now, the thing about gold, another thing about gold, is that if you want a commodity that's actually going to get you somewhere, if you're somebody that's actually accumulating physical bars, or if you're one of these people that set up shop and that's actually buying cheap gold, scrap gold off the street, and you actually think that that's going to somehow get you over, if you're one of these hyper fanatical people like this nut job that did this speedway shooting out there in Arizona, if you're one of these people that think that gold is going to somehow become the new money if the monetary system falls, absolutely not. It's going to be commodities. It's going to be things that actually people need. Things that people need to continue going. Maybe something like copper to keep their damn air conditioners going. I mean, something like I don't know, food. How about that? I mean, I'm just saying, people are really hyper sensationalizing the whole idea of gold, but let me tell you, I'm not saying I'm not buying into that bubble. I'm accumulating as much gold as possible. As a matter of fact, as of late, since I've been capitalizing on so much of my financial speculation, I've been buying gold pieces like they're going out of style. I look like a freaking rapper out here. I'm serious. I got, badass gold diamond encrusted bezel Rolex going on. I got these new threads. I got the hell out of the country. For you folks that used to listen to me on a consistent basis back in the day when I used to broadcast at midnight or, 1 a.m., whenever the hell I used to broadcast, I used to be out there in the damn country in the outskirts of Austin, Texas. I used to be able to scream my head off. No big deal. Well, now we're in a different. We're I'm in a different area. I'm in the city now. Yeah, I bought a couple of condos in a couple of different cities, to be honest with you. And the thing about condo living, I know there's going to be people that are going to be pissing and moaning about the homeowners association fees. But let me tell you, the homeowners association fees is what I love about it. I mean, hey, I don't have to take out my own trash. I got a concierge service. I mean, I got it's beautiful. I just love it. I get the best views. Oh, you don't even know about the views, man. But that's neither here nor there. I'm just discussing that everybody out there that wants to become a capitalist can become a capitalist. So Felix in the chat room wanted to know about gold. I think it's a buy. I think it's a buy, but don't put all your eggs in it like these idiots on TV are trying to tell you, oh, put all your damn life savings into gold. Absolutely not. It should definitely be a part of your portfolio. It should definitely be part of your asset base. But I would not go out and put all your eggs in it. I would, diversify. I would definitely put some money in some stocks. I would definitely put some money in some bank accounts and a variety of different bank accounts. Don't put all your money in one bank account. All right? I mean, that's the biggest mistake people do. They think that, I'm going to put all my money in my bank, in my mama's bank. I'm going to put it in my mama's bank. And then they put it in mama's bank, and, then what? Then mama's bank goes out of business, and then you're crap out of luck unless, you're covered FDIC up to $250. But if you're one of these schmucks that put in over $250, which is over the FDIC insurance policy, well, then all that money is a loss. So once again, folks, I mean, read the fine print. Understand what's going on in America today. All right? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And don't listen to some moron in some financial institution somewhere. Sometimes you got to do what you have to do to make yourself live better. If you're one of these people that thinks that you're going to be able to give all your money to some schmuck and he's going to make $1 million, it's not going to happen. If you're one of these schmucks that believes the commercials during the golf tournaments and believes that whatever financial institution is going to be able to diversify your portfolio and you're going to be able to actually live on retirement for a living, it's just ludicrous. The only person that's going to make you the best moves, the only people that's going to make you the best money, the only person that has your best interest at hand is you. And if you can't trust yourself, well, then what good are you? Honestly, if you can't trust yourself, if you can't take the information that's freely available to everybody, the internet, the library, you can talk to some professors at your local colleges, you can do whatever it takes. If you can't take this initiative, if you can't trust yourself, well, then what good are you really, You're no better than these damn lowlifes out here with their hands out, wanting to collect damn unemployment for 99 weeks because, oh, man, I used to get paid $50,000. And I ain't accepting nothing less, baby. Give me a break.
Boar's Head is bringing a slice of Japan to the deli. Introducing Boar's Head Ichiban Teriyaki-style chicken. Tender, slow-roasted chicken breast, coated in our signature teriyaki glaze, where ginger, garlic, and a hint of brown sugar meet for a flavor that's both sweet and savory. New Boar's Head Ichiban Teriyaki-style chicken. The bold flavor of Japan. Now at the deli. Only from Boar's Head. Compromise elsewhere.
Excuse me. Somebody in the chat room saying they have 2 accounts at 2 big banks right now. And let me tell you, that's the way you should be doing it. And on top of that, when you have capital and savings, all right, let's say you have cash reserves and savings, and it's, going above 15,000, 20,000. Well, that's when you should start thinking about making a move, all right? I mean, I'm serious. You hear all these people that are rich, right? Oh, I'm rich. I got a house here and I got a house there. These people aren't rich. I mean, if you got all the capital that they actually have, they maybe have $500,000 worth of capital. But it's all tied up in loans so that they can achieve the big lifestyle that they have. And what do you do with those loans? Well, all you have to do is be able to maintain your financial obligations so that you can be solvent each month and you can live in the lap of luxury. That's what people don't understand. You know, people are too busy out here buying $500 iPhones and, you know, $3,000 iPads or whatever, the $5,000 plasmas and whatever the hell else they're buying out here, these, you know, electronic widgets from China. You know, they're spending their hard-earned money on this nonsense instead of actually working and making their money work for them. All that labor, I mean, you're never going to get that energy back. You know, all that energy that you put in, all the energy you put into whatever job you do, all that energy, you don't want whatever you're paid for that energy exertion to just go by the wayside to some stupid electronic widget that was produced on some idiot in an assembly line for 9 cents an hour. You know, I mean, give me a break. I mean, what you want to do is you want to be able to take all the capital that you worked for and be able to use the financial instruments available so that you can live lavish. I mean, who the hell doesn't want to live lavish, for heaven's sake? And you got to read the fine print on these financial instruments, folks. I mean, you know, I hate how these people in 2008, when those subprime mortgages started to reset into these, new interest rates, these people acted like, you know, somebody farted on their best suit when they realized their little, 4% rate went up to like 12 or 15%, and they didn't know what the hell to do with the fluctuation and lost their houses. I mean, good God, you got to read what you sign, all right? I mean, let's be honest. I know it's a big pain in the ass. Oh, it's so, I have to read, and then I got to sign. You got to be responsible, all right? That's the thing about freedom. You know, everybody's talking about, oh, freedom, I want freedom, I want freedom. And yet they have the freedom to sign their name on a dotted line on a contract that's, plainly says what's going to happen, and these idiots are like, I didn't know. Good God. Real estate. People are talking about how real estate is dead. Well, it depends on what market you're looking at, Felix. Out here in Texas, real estate is going up the wazoo. I was able to sell my home that I had for a long period of time for a tremendous amount of money. I mean, just humongous, you know. And at the same time, I do not really see too much of a downside. There's a lot of people coming to Texas, and the reason is it's great to do business out here. I mean, it's easy to do business. There's no over-regulation. It's an at-will work state. There's no unions out here. There's nothing that's going to sit here and mooch any kind of money off of the business investor out here. It's great. And at the same time, people are getting paid. People are getting paid out here. There's jobs galore out here in Texas. I mean, I haven't seen this amount of growth in Texas since the 60s or the 70s or something. And that doesn't even compare to the kind of growth that's happening out here now. You should see Austin, Texas. All right, within 1 year, the skyline has completely changed. I mean, it's just that much growth happening out here. And, for you folks that are out there having a bad time in your state, I strongly advise you to come down here to Texas. And the real estate is cheaper. The jobs are plentiful. And the economic opportunities, if you want to parlay whatever your hard-earned money is into a business, it's going to be suitable and conducive for you to do so. So I strongly advise everybody. Everybody. Yeah, and, somebody in the chat room says, well, those red states are always the rich states. Well, that's because we're not out here bleeding heart liberals. We're not out here, making dumbass soup kitchens, funding soup kitchens, for $15 for a bowl of soup, and that's what people don't realize. Oh, look, I work at a soup kitchen. I'm such a liberal. I'm so great. Even though the expenses to run that soup kitchen supersede the whole idea of running a soup kitchen. I mean, you take all the cost of the damn real estate and the damn electricity and the water and the food and the staff, it's about $15 a damn bowl of soup, you know? When we've got dollar menus on every freaking corner. You know, you can go to Taco Bell and get a taco for 39 freaking cents. 39-cent tacos at Taco Bell, for heaven's sake. And yet you got these blue states out here, paying $15 a bowl of soup so that they can feed the po in America. It's disgraceful. It's horrible. And that's why you got Illinois over here, in $90 billion in debt. I mean, they're even in worse shape than California, if that's even hard enough to believe. Anybody who's in Illinois, you need to get the hell out of there. Run for your life. I mean, your personal state income tax is going to raise 66%. All right? 66%. Now, don't get me wrong, you're going to be able to write a lot of that off, but even so, you're going to have to pay a state tax of what? After all write-offs and everything, 45%? It's ridiculous. Oh, it's to the state? And that's not even getting to the federal level. So everybody in Illinois, get the hell out of there. All right? And remember, that's Obama country. That's over there where Obama, was a community organizer, and he gathered up the people and demanded entitlements. And now look at it, $90 billion in debt, and they don't know where the hell they're going. Jesus Christ! And for those of you in the bond market, by the way, all right, for those of you all in the bond market, I know that there's a lot of bottom feeders out here trying to eat in on these municipal bonds. Don't do it. All right, and don't do it. If you're going to go into any kind of bond, you should just go into country bonds. I mean, look who's bailing out all these assholes. I mean, I don't want to get into bond talk. I don't really like bonds, really. I think that their yields are kind of small. I mean, they're just good enough for a tax shelter if you make some big profit or something. But don't quote me on that. But stock, the thing about it was, for the person in the chat room talking about stocks, the stock market has been great. I think that we're going to see a downturn here with, as we approach maybe springtime. As that downturn happens, I think that you should buy some of the blue chips that are going to, take this downturn. But the good time to do it was this summer, like I was saying on my show back then. I was saying I think everybody should consider the stock market. Everything's down. The Dow at that point was down to 9,000 and the high 9,000s, but still 9,000 below 10. And you could have literally, just thrown darts at the Dow Jones Industrials or the S&P and literally made so much profit, it's disgusting. As a matter of fact, I mean, I've made so much money in the stock market since the summer. That's why I've got my own office here. That's why, if you hear me and it sounds like I'm talking to you from the crapper, I mean, give me a break. No, I mean, Felix, I think that high-yield bonds are good. The only thing is I'm not a big bond guy. I think bonds are good for, maybe some tax shelters, and if you need to, put some profits away so that you can pay the taxes later. I think I think it's a good idea, and I always like to profit. I'm big on profit. I'm a capitalist, for heaven's sake. I like to profit, and I like ventures that are going to give me higher yields of profit in a shorter period of time. I guess you can call me a bull, but I'm not a bull in the sense of being ridiculous and going all in on some ridiculous nonsense. I'm a pretty diversified individual. I've got real estate. I've got stocks. I've got bank accounts. There's so many things that I've got businesses, obviously. There's so many things to invest in, and I just want to help those out there that want to be true capitalists, that don't want to make excuses, that don't want to sit here and say, "Oh, I'm Poe in America," and piss and moan about everything else. I want you all to go out there, make some money, because let me tell you, if you're making money, I'm making money. If I'm making money, everybody's making money. If everybody's making money, then we're having a good goddamn economy. Give me a break. Well, Felix, if you're, if it's a mutual fund high yield, the fund manager should be able to take care, or should be able to manipulate the high rising yield percentages to your advantage, since you're hooked up into a mutual fund based on bonds. But me personally, once again, I'm not a mutual fund guy. I'm not one who trusts anybody else with my cash. If anybody's going to lose my cash, it's going to be me. That's how I see it. Anyway, folks, we're heading into the second hour of the True Capitalist Radio Show. This is the first edition. The first edition. We're no longer going to talk about all this conservatism. We're not going to talk anymore about this politics, because the political game, it's gone. It's disgusting. It's ridiculous. There's no use. It was a waste of my time. It was a waste of my energy. I mean, just do a YouTube search and just listen to me screaming out there. I mean, I gave myself a damn heart problem trying to get people out there political. But now it's True Capitalist Radio, and now what we're doing is we're trying to get capitalists worldwide to start, not only benefiting themselves, but living a better lifestyle, because without civility, without social order, without this idea of capitalism, we have nothing. All right, we have nothing. What do you want to be? You want to be some commie, living in the same house as everybody else out here except for the government bureaucrats? You want it to be like Russia back in the day of the Cold War? I mean, the Russian bureaucrats, they would force the damn people of Russia to go and get into bread lines and fight each other over a damn loaf of bread. Meanwhile, the damn communist government of Russia, the communist government of Russia was going into their secret little shops and consuming in Western goods, the same Western goods that they thought were the enemy and the bourgeoisie and all this other nonsense. Is that what we want to live? We want to make the bureaucrats the kings and queens of us? Absolutely not. That's not how I want to live. This is the second hour of True Capitalist Radio. 646-652-4869 is the number to call here. If you need any advice, if you're going to get into some sort of venture, please, by all means, give me a call. Do not go into anything without getting advice and interpreting it and making a judgment call thereafter. I'm here watching here in the chat room. They're talking about how the Russian government is still very corrupt. You're damn right it's corrupt, because as I stated in the beginning of this program, the only way capitalism or a version of capitalism can be successful is if the rule of law is actually followed and can actually be implemented properly, and the protection of property. And in Russia, because the government bureaucrats, they technically are no longer communists, but in essence they're still trying to assert their vulgar display of bureaucratic power. And at the same time, the only capitalist endeavor that's happening in Russia is mob-based. The mafia is running that whole state. And you see, that's what will screw up capitalism also, is when the underworld, the underworld begins to make more money than the legitimate business world. And that's one thing emerging markets need to understand, is that you need to quash all the illegitimate business that's happening out there, and to be able to protect the property and protect the businesses that are out there conducting legitimate business, that are producing, that are providing products and services. I wouldn't trust Russia's markets as far as I can throw them. I wouldn't, I wouldn't trust Russia's markets as far as I can throw them. So if anybody's, considering, investing in any kind of Russian markets, I strongly advise against it. Anything Russia. I mean, we really don't know what the hell's going on. The government, it's a whacked-out bureaucratic mess. All right? I mean, they're still commies. It's obvious. I mean, look at Putin over here. He's talking about rerunning for prime minister or whatever. Whatever the hell he is. He's always in charge, but he's going to rerun for what Medvedev, whatever that stupid vodka-drinking, cockeyed Russian's name is. He's going to go and rerun again, and lo and behold, Putin is going to be president, and he's just going to continue this bureaucratic reign of power that is completely non-conducive to anything capitalist or anything economically productive. And that's what's really unfortunate, because I think that the Russians, even though they're kind of dopey looking and they kind of drink a little bit too much vodka and they're mouth breathers and all that other nonsense, they have it in their history to get together and actually push forward into a modernization attempt. If you look at some of the czars back in the day, if you look at the czars, I'm not talking about at the time of the Bolshevik Revolution, but I'm talking about in the 1700s when some of the czars were, still kind of sheltered. It was Russia was more like a protective state. It was an isolationist state. When some of the czars went out and checked out Europe and saw the cosmopolitan lifestyle that Europe had to offer, well, that particular czar actually enacted certain policies at the time to bring in modernity or cosmopolitan lifestyle into Russian way of life. And I honestly think that they have the capability of doing this again. It's just embedded within their society to be led. And if you are a society that has to be led, you have to hope or roll the dice that you're going to have a good leader. And let me tell you, I'm not a big fan of putting faith in humanity. And I don't think they're going to have a good leader anytime soon. And I hate to say that about the Russian people. They're that's why a lot of them, especially the women, they're getting on mail-order bride sites, trying to come over here to America so that they can have some damn economic opportunity. But I don't foresee Russia, converting to a more capitalist, favorable environment. I just don't see it. Anyway, folks, 646-652-4869 is the number to call. Please email me, too. I want to get some advice from the people who listen into the broadcast, whether live or in the archive. When is the best time I should conduct this broadcast? ghostpolitics@yahoo.com is the email address. Ghostpolitics, all one word, no underscores, @yahoo.com. And, of course, that's the Twitter name, too, Ghostpolitics. Let me know, because I'm just kind of teetering around. I'm just, at this point in time, just, launching broadcasts whenever I'm bored here, sitting in the office, trying to conduct business. So that's what I'm doing at this point in time. So I want to hear from you when the best time to conduct this broadcast would be. It would be a great help, ghostpolitics@yahoo.com. But anyway, folks, we're going to continue talking about, business, capitalist endeavors. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the latest business news. And one of the things that I saw in the business news today was that Hugh Hefner, old Hugh Hefner, however the hell old he is, 85, 83, or whatever old he is, old Hugh Hefner is going to buy all the stock of Playboy so that it can become a private company once again. Yeah, he actually was able to get enough people to lend him up to $180 million so that old Hugh Hefner can become the private owner of Playboy. I mean, give me a break. Why exactly would you be doing this? I mean, that's what I want to know. Why exactly would Hugh Hefner be, gathering up lenders and trying to make an attempt to buy Playboy? Well, I want to make a personal opinion, and I know that I may be getting off keister here. I may be getting a little off keister with this story, but this is my personal opinion, okay? I think Hugh Hefner, this 85-year-old prostate-infected windbag, who laid the best tale ever to come across America's, faces here. I mean, everything from Marilyn Monroe to, the 17-year-old twin bimbos that he was banging a couple of months ago. Just this man's had the best. He's been able to smoke the best cigars, the best pipes, drink the best whiskey, partied out with the best people in Hollywood and the media. This guy, 24-hour party, and he lived to be 80-something years old. Now this man wants to make a bid for Playboy once again. He wants Playboy to become a private entity. He's going to try to make a stock buyout. He's been approved by a bunch of lenders to get $180 million in this stock buyout. Why is Hugh Hefner doing this? Well, for you folks that, don't keep up to date with what's going on in people's private lives, well, Hugh Hefner's about to get married. He's engaged. Oh, yeah, he's engaged. He's engaged to some bimbo, and conveniently enough, after he gets engaged to this, money-grubbing, bimbo, lo and behold, Hugh Hefner wants to make a bid for Playboy. Because at this point in time, for you folks that don't know or unaware, Hugh Hefner he's not Playboy. He doesn't own Playboy. He hasn't owned Playboy for a very long time. As a matter of fact, the corporation that is Playboy, because Playboy is its own corporation, it's its own entity, has been flipping the bill for Hugh Hefner ever since like the early 80s or the late 70s. He's been being taken care of at the Playboy Mansion, which is which is a corporate asset. That is not his house, all right? He is not, paying that out of his own pocket, all right? All the staff and all the zoo and all the pools and everything that's in the Playboy Mansion is not Hugh Hefner's, all right? It's being paid for by the company. His whole lifestyle is being paid for by the company. Now, at this point in time, the reason that he can justify these expenses to the board of directors and all these corporate people in position of power out there in Playboy is because he's trying to claim that he himself is the image of Playboy. So, the $300 million a year or whatever the hell it is to maintain his lifestyle is justified because he is Playboy. He's the image of it. Well, I'm sure that isn't bolding over too well. And now he's going to make a vouch for power. He's going to take the $180 million that he was approved by certain lenders, and he is going to buy. He's going to buy Playboy again. He's going to buy Playboy again. Can you believe this crap? The guy's, he should be, ready to croak at any point. All right, at any point in time. But lo and behold, this guy, thinks he's Mr. Businessman again. He's going to go in and buy it. As a matter of fact, it's a $210 million deal, according to The Guardian, And, of course, on the cover is Hugh Hefner and his 84-year-old or 85-year-old or 89-year-old, however old he is. All right, but he'd be sitting there with this bimbo of his that he's, marrying. Crystal Harris is her name. And let me tell you, I would not be surprised if old Crystal Harris is making a suggestion to old Hef, who could be kicking the bucket at any second, that maybe he should make a vouch for his old company. He should make the $210 million deal. All right? Because, let me tell you, Playboy isn't doing very good. It's not doing very good. As a matter of fact, somebody in the chat room was saying that print media is just about dead. And I would say it is to a certain degree. But it's like with any other medium and any other convergence of technologies, you have to adapt. And hopefully, since Hefner's going to buy this company once again, hopefully he understands that. He's 84 years old, all right, to be exact. I know there's people that are asking me, how old is the old bag? He's 84 years old. Okay, so he's going to buy the entire remaining outstanding shares of stock at $6.15 a share. $6.15 a share. And why is he doing this? I mean, I have no idea. I don't get it. I mean, I just think it's sad that this little bimbo that he's with, whenever this guy croaks, you do realize that this bimbo is going to inherit Playboy. I mean, you do understand this, right? I mean, this man is making. This is what makes me sick. This is what's sad about America, and this is another thing capitalists need to realize. That if you're going to be a capitalist and you're going to make lots of money and you're going to do things that are going to make you prosperous, you better hope that you have a woman that's going to stay by your side and is not going to be some nefarious bimbo that's going to connive you or try to put you in the grave or try to take you for what you're worth, because that is going to set a capitalist back big time. It's going to set a capitalist back big time. You understand? Hold on, let me turn this off here. Sorry, conducting business over here. I got a show going on over there. But seriously, folks, we got to, talk about these sorts of things because, in my personal opinion, I think that Hugh Hefner is making a bad mistake. All right? No, Coffee, you're not. Coffee's saying that the daughter's going to get it. I don't think so. I mean, if his daughter was going to get it, well, she would have gotten together with her father and then taken it over. But I'm looking at the reports here. I don't see his daughter having anything to do with this takeover whatsoever. As a matter of fact, his daughter resigned in January 2009. All right? I don't think that's going to happen. As a matter of fact, unless it's in his will, I don't think it's going to happen. But these old bags, these old bastards, they're all, on their deathbed, they sign over everything to some bimbo they were only with for a couple of years. And lo and behold, some bimbo ends up owning a company that she had no business having. And I just don't understand the logic in an 84-year-old man making, a company, a company buyout, when at this point in time, I don't think he has the energy nor the time to bounce back Playboy to what it used to be. I don't get it. So the logic will tell me that he just got engaged. All of a sudden, he's making a private move for his old company. And what? He croaks and then, this bimbo owns Playboy. And it's a disgrace, man. You got to watch out for that as a capitalist. Now, don't get me wrong. Let's say you're with your first spouse. They were with you before you became anything. They were with you before you became some big capitalist, before you started making money. Well, then you can trust them. But even then, be careful, because they may get tired of you. Maybe you become a pompous asshole when you start making all this money and, they can't stand you anymore. They're going to throw some damn glass in your food, I'm just sorry. I mean, you got to think about these things. I mean, when people don't know how to make money and they see you making money, they ain't going to like you, folks. I know, and this can be even in your own family. I mean, you've heard about these people killing their spouses, killing their kids, killing their dogs for insurance money. So that's why I'm saying, folks, I mean, you got to be very careful. Family is important, but you have to understand that your family has to be down for what you're down with, and that's capitalism. Or that's being a capitalist, not necessarily capitalism, because we're not necessarily living capitalism. You know? We're not living in capitalism. But you can still be a capitalist in any system, with the exception of a communist system, because remember, communist system doesn't give a crap about property rights, and property is the foundation of capitalism. Property, and the protection of it. We live in a society where we can own property, and some damn barbarian can't come in here, chop our heads off, and take our property. We live in civil society. That's the foundation of it. But anyway, I didn't mean to get on Hefner's case. Hey, if he wants to leave the company to some 24-year-old bimbo, well, that's his problem. He's the idiot. But it just goes to show you, folks, and I hate to say this, but it goes to show you that no matter how much tail you have, no matter how many broads you bang, it doesn't really matter, does it? In the end, you're still going to do the same doofus garbage that every one of these men do, like Burt Reynolds with Lonnie Anderson, like Tiger Woods with that blonde bimbo. You're gonna get married, you're gonna realize that it's not all there, and you're gonna screw up everything you ever built, and it just makes no sense whatsoever. It makes me sick. It makes me sick to my stomach. These guys work their whole lives to get this, a great empire going on, and then they're gonna screw it up. And then when they die, they're going to leave it to some bimbo who's not even going to appreciate it, whose only, sole purpose of her getting it is so she can be a complete bitch to everybody in the company and say, oh, yeah, look at me. I was the last thing that hopped on Hugh Hefner's little limp penis. So I was left the company. Oh, yeah, shut your stupid mouth, you stupid bimbo. Anyway, I better calm down here. I'm sorry. I shouldn't get that upset about things. But seriously, folks, Hefner making a $200 million attempt at, or not attempt, he's buying the company at $6.15 a share. It's stupid. Makes no sense. He's 84 years old. This guy could die at any time. You think this guy lived a great lifestyle? You think that he, ate right and, ate vegetables? Hell no. He sipped on the greatest champagnes and the greatest spirits and ate T-bone steaks and pot roast and, I just don't get it. I just don't get it, man. Anyway. Sorry. Talking about emerging markets or other foreign markets out here, folks, not to get off keister here, but Germany is actually growing at a faster rate, of course not at the rate of China, but it's growing at a faster rate, its fastest rate since the reunification of East and West Germany, folks. And to be frank with you, I think that it's Germany itself that's keeping the European Union alive. And why exactly is Germany keeping the European Union alive? Why are they exactly having economic growth at such a rate? Because they have work ethic. They're proud to work. Look at America. Do you think we got work ethic here in America? We have to subcontract our drive-through speaker customer service. I'm not joking. I don't know if you folks have heard this. When you go through a drive-thru, now you're not talking to some schmuck in the drive-thru or in the restaurant. You're actually talking to some idiot in some damn call center somewhere, and they're actually taking your order. That's how stupid the work ethic here is in America. But the work ethic in Germany is just unbelievable. They take pride in their work. Because they're Germans. I am German. And I take pride in my work. Not to have a Heineken. But anyway, the reason I bring that up, folks, is because, America is not the top dog anymore. We're not a great economy, all right? I do understand that we created this game. We're the bastions of capitalism. We were the bastions of capitalism. Now we're the bastards. We're the freaking bastards of capitalism. Look at these people out here. I just challenge you, go to a shopping mall, go to some place where there's a lot of people congregated, take a look at the sour scowls on these disgusting pussies of these people. It's a disgrace. There's so many opportunities for everybody out here, and who's taking those opportunities? The people coming in here to this country from foreign lands. That's why when you go and pump your gas, it's some foreigner taking your money. That's why when you go into an independent restaurant, it's a foreigner managing the damn place, because they're coming into this country and taking the opportunities that are available for everyone. But nobody's taking them. Instead, they're taking handouts, 99-week extensions for unemployment, housing voucher programs, food cards. They're taking all these government entitlements instead of utilizing the capitalist opportunities that are all around us so that they can make themselves a better person, so that they can give themselves a better lifestyle. I mean, what the hell's going on here, folks? I mean, it's not brain science, for heaven's sake. I mean, even if you're not one who's business savvy, even if you're not one who's out there that can, turn, $100,000 into $1 million, even if you're not somebody who takes big risks, just know how to use your freaking money. I mean, let's say you're one of these guys that busts your ass and works overtime 80, 90 hours a week. Don't go out there and buy these ridiculous widgets, these electronic widgets from China at retail value, when you know that it takes 9 cents an hour for these idiots to manufacture it on the assembly line. I mean, don't go out there and eat up all these ridiculous nonsense advertisements and making you believe that you got to get products that you don't even need. I mean, give me a break. I mean, this is what I'm talking about, folks. There's the reason that you're seeing foreigners take your money at these small business locations, at gas stations, at restaurants, everywhere, is because they are the ones reaping the rewards. They're the ones obtaining capital, saving their money, getting loans, and putting their opportunities in the right places that'll achieve them revenue-generating opportunities. And that's why you're seeing them, folks. And you see, they're there for you, too. They're there for you, too. They're there for you, too. I don't understand how come American people, individuals who have ancestry in this country, ancestry that traces back to wars, world wars, civil wars, revolutionary wars, aren't taking the opportunities, the capitalist opportunities, that are there for everybody. I just don't get it. They're there for everybody, and yet we've got foreign people now. And let me tell you, I have nothing against foreigners anymore. I know that back in my previous conservative days, I was all the immigrants and all this and all that. But you know what? I'm starting to believe that the immigrants are caring more about the American experiment. They're caring more about American rights. They're caring more about the American Constitution than actual American people. I mean, I talk to these foreigners. I mean, I had a home inspector. I'm buying properties out here since I sold I've actually sold a couple of properties. I don't want to get into my personal life, but I actually had a home inspector inspect my home. I believe he said he was a Polish immigrant. He was actually raised in communist Poland. Communist Poland, where they had to go to the damn bread line and get himself a loaf of bread, for heaven's sake. And he was able to sneak himself out. Him and his family were able to sneak themselves out of communist Poland and come to America, sought refuge, got asylum out here. And did they just sit back and become losers, when they became refugees in this country? No, they didn't. This man said, "Hey, I got to do something. I got to make money. I don't want to work for somebody my whole life. I don't want somebody to sit here and smack me on the back of the head and tell me, hey, work harder, work faster." So what did he do? He worked hard for a few years, saved his capital, got a little educated, got certified and all this other nonsense, became a home inspector. Now this guy's making money. He's living large. And you know what he's doing? We had a conversation, of course, after he did the home inspection. He is actually looking down on American people. Yeah, a Polish immigrant is looking down upon American people because he can't believe that he left communist Poland to come to America only to find America attempting to be communist, attempting to be socialist. Same thing with a gentleman who happens to own, I think it's, I don't know exactly what Asian food restaurant he owns, but it's one of those Asian foods. And even they, amongst their immigrant selves, just are disgusted with these American people. They're disgusted with them. Because immigrants are using these capitalist opportunities and Americans are not. They're bitching and moaning. They want more handouts. And that's why I'm making this program, folks. And I know it's at an odd time. I know that there's people out there saying, hey, let's get a set-based time here, Ghost. Well, after February 1st, when, we start reformatting the whole damn show here, we're going to have a consistent time. And I want to hear from you when that time should be. Ghostpolitics@yahoo.com. Let me know what's going on. I want to hear from you. Ghostpolitics@yahoo.com. And I also want to hear from you now. If you got any financial or business questions, believe me, folks, I'm living large in a recession, all right? I mean, I'm buying prime rib steaks that cost me $100 at the butcher, all right? And that's in a recession. And I'm not trying to brag here, but everybody could be living like this. It's just unfortunate that when people hit a bad curb in their life, they just want to piss and moan and go, shack up in mommy and daddy's basement and say, oh, man, I don't know what to do. I mean, give me a break. Let me take a sip of this sauce here. You got to excuse me, folks. Got a little bit of a drinking situation here. I've grown accustomed to drinking on a consistent basis every single day, so, oh well, it doesn't matter. All right? Anyway, I want to hear from you, folks. I'm not getting any callers here, but I know that not everybody's living large. I know that not everybody's having a great time in this economy, and I want to help you. 646-652-4869. All right, and also email me your questions at the same time, ghostpolitics@yahoo.com, or you can tweet. You can tweet me up at ghostpolitics. It feels like such a fruity ass word, doesn't it? Tweet. Now you can tweet me. You can tweet me. A fruity ass word. I mean, give me a break. Anyway, 440, you're on the air. 440, you there? Oh, don't hang up. Come on. Well, why is everybody hanging up? Don't hang up. If you got a question, call up. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. Don't run away. Come on. This is America, damn it. We need to be the home of the free, the land of the brave out here. If you got something to say, let's say it. Let's become capitalists, for heaven's sake. Let's not be little, no personality having pansy asses that America has come to know and love about itself. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of, walking into a damn grocery store and being waited on by some no personality having pansy ass with a damn nose ring and, stupid tattoos on his neck. I'm sick and tired of it. And then you try to have a conversation with these idiots that, they act like you just kicked them in the nuts or something. This is what I'm talking about, folks. We need to start growing the hell up. We need to start growing some nuts, and we need to start taking responsibility for our own lives out here. That's what we need to do. We need to take responsibility for our own lives instead of just sitting around and blaming everybody for our own problems. Look, life sucks, okay, people? Life sucks. Life's going to give you a good kick to the ass every now and then. You just got to deal with it. I mean, we're lucky that we're living in such a civil society that we live in today. Now, don't get me wrong. People can make a debate that it's not that civil. We're at war, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But what point in human history has there been a utopia? At what point in human history has there not been human strife? At what point in human history has there not been suffering? None. This is the best point in human history at this point. And it's given people opportunity, those that want to take the initiative, it gives them the opportunity to be something better than they were when they were born into this world. So that's what I'm saying. All right? 646-652-4869. I think we got a caller here. Are you there?
Hello?
Hello? Yeah, what's going on, sir?
Oh, not much, man. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's going on, man?
Not much. Just want to say, glad to see you back on the air, Ghost.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
You've been gone since September, and I was like, where's Ghost? We need his input on everything that's going on in here. And I was listening to your show about the immigrants, and I wasn't born in the United States, and I appreciate, like you were saying, I think I appreciate America more than these other kids. Now, I'm not saying you don't, but I'm saying these other people. Like, if it wasn't for America, I mean, where would I be? Because I came over because of war happening there.
No, I agree. And at the same time,
I mean, they treat every day like it's peaceful. Nothing's going to happen. I mean, but it's going down the drain. I mean, it's just going bad.
Yeah, it is going bad, sir. And at the same time, the reason immigrants have a better appreciation is you're exactly right. You came from a war zone, correct? What war zone did you come from, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, it was in '99. Like Croatia was breaking away from Serbia.
Oh, yeah, the Kosovo situation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That was a very serious situation. People were actually getting ethnically cleansed, for a lack of a better term. I mean, these Serbs were going in and, killing people by the thousands, from what I understand. And you see, American people, they're not witness to anything like that. I mean, that's why when, they see a shooting on TV of a congresswoman, it's like, oh, my God, what's happening to the world? And I don't know what's happening. The world has been in chaos all around us for a long period of time, and it's a shame that we've become such egotistical, pompous assholes. And it's one thing to be an egotistical, pompous asshole, but it's another thing to be an egotistical, pompous asshole mooching off of a system. I mean, I'm all for people taking care of their own, taking care of themselves. They want to be pompous jerks, be pompous jerks. But inevitably, most of these people are all collecting entitlements, and that's not the way it is. And every foreign person that I've ever met cares about making money, raising their family, and that's about it. I don't understand at this point in time. I used to be anti-immigrant and conservative and all this other nonsense, but in my personal opinion, I think that we need more immigrants. I think that we need to nationalize these people. We need to make them citizens, because I think that they'll make a bigger contribution to this country than the current Americans. And I hate to say that. I'm not trying to be anti-patriotic or anti-American, but look at what's happening to America today. These people don't care. They don't care about what's happening to the country. They don't care about what's happening to their freedom. They don't care that they have to be photographed naked to get on a plane or anally probed to get on a plane. They don't care that they have to have they can get DNA extracted from their body if they're suspected by some bureaucratic policeman that they're under the influence. I mean, these are disgusting displays of power. And these idiots in America aren't taking notice of it. And I think that immigrants like yourself are actually taking notice and are actually getting a little pissed off about it.
Yeah, exactly.
I thank you for calling, man. Do you have a blog or something you want to plug, man?
Not really. I don't much. This is like my first time calling in. I've been a listener for a while though, but your times are too late for me here in the East Coast. But now you're on early, so it's like 5 o'clock here, 6 o'clock here, so.
Yeah, I'm thinking about. Oh, I'm sorry, man. I was going to say I'm thinking about starting to do them during the day here, so that we can get a little bit wider of an audience, and not just a wider of an audience, but to get people listening and start making some cash. You know, I mean, we need to start making money. We need to gain assets as people. What do you do for a living, by the way?
Oh,
are you in school?
High school student.
What are you gonna do after you get out of high school?
I don't know. Probably maybe business. I'm not sure though.
Business? Do you have some money you got saved away?
No.
Really? Well, how old are you right now? I don't mean to pry into your personal life.
17.
17. You know what you should do, man, is try to get as much money as possible.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. I mean, it's kind of hard to find a job here. I mean, I don't have a license yet, and.
Oh, you don't have a license? Where
not
you?
Yet,
do you have a bus system or subway system?
No, not around here. But it's easy walking to a job. I can always walk there.
Yeah, and don't spend your money on garbage. I know.
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
young.
I know what you're talking about, Ghost. I know exactly.
And it's hard. It's hard to do.
It's hard not to, but it's tempted because all these commercials on TV, like, oh, this is the greatest product ever, when it actually sucks and everyone wants it and everything like that. But when you get it, it's like, oh, what the hell is this? It's not what I wanted.
Absolutely. And once again, I want to thank you for calling, man. I mean, it's a real inspirational call there. But do not get tempted. All right, young man, do not get tempted by going out and blowing money on ridiculous nonsense. What you need to do is you need to get yourself some net worth, all right? And even if you get some little, minimum wage job, all right, if you work at it, save your money, all right? And at the same time, let's say you want to save it and you want to make sure that you save it. Put it in a stock. All right, let's say you don't even want to put it in the bank. Put it in a stock. Put it in a blue-chip stock that you know isn't going anywhere. Some multinational corporation. Now, you're not going to get big, large sums of cash doing this, but it is a secure place to hold your money, and it'll grow higher yields than any little 0.5% interest rate that a bank will give you. And on top of which, the more stock you accumulate of a certain blue chip and the more that you have, the more collateral that you can have when going to a bank for a loan. Let's say you want to go to the bank for a loan for a house. You want to go to the bank for a loan for a car. You want to go to the bank for a loan for a business. Well, the only way the bank's going to talk to you is if, first of all, you got a savings account with about $15,000, $20,000 in their bank, or you've got some sort of tangible asset that you can put up as collateral and be able to, be trusted with the loan that the bank will give you. Now, what do you do with a bank loan? Well, first of all, folks, don't buy a new car like a damn Jag-off. I mean, you hear these people all the time. They go out to the dealership. They get all excited. They smell the new car smell of these dumb new cars, and they end up paying a fortune for a brand new car the same year or next year's model, and then once they drive it off the lot, it reduces its value by 30%. And then after, several years, it depreciates at a certain rate, and before you know it, you're paying an exuberant amount of money for some stupid car note that the car's not even worth the amount of money you're paying into the car note, and this is how people get themselves screwed. You understand? You have to make legitimate investments. Like I was saying yesterday, folks, for all you folks that, for the young man who said he didn't have a car, all right, go and save about $3,000 cash, all right? Go on Craigslist. Go around your town. Go to a damn used car lot and take a look at all the cars that are available. I guarantee you can find yourself a Cadillac. You can find yourself a Mercedes. You can find yourself any car out there. It's not going to be the late model. You're not going to have a 2011 Mercedes. You're not going to have a 2011 Cadillac. But you can get, 2003 LAC, a 2002 Mercedes at about $3,000, $4,000 cash. You understand? And if you can't pay it all cash, put whatever you can down, finance the rest, and pay it off so it can look good on your damn credit. This way, you're driving around in a damn Cadillac, you're driving around in a damn Mercedes, it only cost you about $3,000 or $4,000, and for all of you that are saying, oh, well, what if a used car goes out, Ghost? What if it breaks down on me? I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, if it breaks down on you, I guarantee you it's not going to break down on you for more than 2 years. All right? I mean, unless you're one of these jag-offs who like to, wear out your transmission by having a damn lead foot and going like 180 miles down the freeway and all this other crap. It's the only way you're going to wear down your car. But if you use it like you're supposed to use it, even if it only lasts you about 1.5 years, 2 years, you divide however long it was running by the price that you paid for it, and that's how much per month that you made. And at the same time, let's say it's too much to get fixed. You call your local junkyard and you say, hey, I got a badass Cadillac over here. It's just a blown out tranny, but every one of the parts is still there, this and that. You could still get $1,000 from the damn junkyard for your Cadillac because they want to pick and pull the parts and sell it for about $3,000 or $4,000 in parts. I mean, don't you understand? You have to think like this. You got to think like a capitalist. You got to think about how you're going to make money, how you're going to save money, how money's going to be used in a proper fashion so that you can have a better lifestyle, so that you don't have an excuse to sit here and say, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. I got to live in grandma's basement. I got to do I don't want to hear it. I just don't want to hear it any longer. And I'm glad to hear that there's 17-year-olds and 16-year-olds listening. You're the reason why I came back. I mean, you'd be surprised, folks. I had so many teenagers and so many kids emailing me up, ghostpolitics@yahoo.com, telling me that they actually learned something every time I broadcasted, even though I was a little vulgar every now and then, even though I ruffled some feathers. They're learning something because you want to know why they're learning something? I'm telling them what the damn teachers aren't telling them. I'm telling them what mommy and daddy aren't telling them. I'm telling them how to make their lives better without being bamboozled by this makeshift American dream they're trying to sell you on TV that doesn't exist. It's a suggested idea. It's an interpretation put forth by the media. Don't you understand that, folks, that you're never going to live the lives that you see on your stupid movies that you have circle jerks for? You're never going to live the lives that these idiot stars out here are trying to portray on these television sets. It's not going to happen. The only life that you're going to live is your life, and if you're going to live your life, why don't you live it to the best of your ability? Why don't you live it as if you're a capitalist and you mean what you say and you say what you mean? And that's why I'm putting on this show. That's why I'm hoping that everybody out there that's listening becomes a capitalist and understands that capitalism isn't about some greasy greaseball bastard with slick back hair, pinstripe suit, flipping a nickel. All right? Capitalists are what makes the world go round. They're the ones who invest. They're the ones who inspire creativity. They're the ones who inspire innovation. And for anybody to sit here and make a debate against the capitalists is just a disgusting disgrace to humanity. All right? Now, anybody who makes a debate against capitalism are those that want to remain stagnant and those that want to become lifelong bureaucrats. Those are the only people that are going to talk against capitalists. And that's why I'm urging every single one of you, and I'm going to start doing this show a lot often, all right? I'm probably going to do it about 5 times a week during the day, all right, 5 times during the week, because I want people out there to seriously go out there and change their lives. This is not a joke, all right? I'm living large. I mean, look at me. I'm becoming an alcoholic. You want to know why? Because I can do that, all right? I can do that. Hey, I'm wearing gold like Birdman. You want to know why? Because I can do that. You know, I got an office that I really don't need. I could be doing this at home, but, I'd rather have the view of the city right in the middle of downtown Austin. You want to know why? Because I can do that, all right? And you can do that, too. That's the thing about it. You can do that, too. I'm not trying to be some pompous asshole like, hey, look at me, my schlong head is bigger than yours. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that you also have to take the initiative. You also have to think about these capitalist decisions that you make, buying cars, buying houses, and you need to look at it from a logical and a capitalist perspective. You can't be foolish. You can't be an idiot. You can't be bamboozled and then use the excuse that I didn't know, I didn't read the fine print. Read the damn fine print. I know it's boring. I know that people don't like to read. I know that people are out there saying, oh, I don't know, I don't want to do it. Oh, do it. All right? And if you piss and moan because you didn't do it, well, shove it up your ass, all right? I mean, I hate to be vulgar about it, but shove it up your ass, really. Sick and tired of people giving me the excuse after excuse after excuse for freedom. I mean, this is free will, man. I mean, a part of freedom is being responsible for your choices, you stupid milky lickers, And when you make the bad choice, nobody wants to take responsibility for it. Everybody wants to blame everybody else. It's my mama's fault, my dad's fault, society's fault, the government's fault. It's your fault. And I'm not trying to be vulgar. I'm not trying to be, some cynical ass clown trying to sit here and, rub it in your faces. I'm trying to slap your faces. I'm trying to slap your fat faces into reality. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to give your fat face a good slap and make you realize that there are foreigners in this country taking advantage of these capitalist opportunities while you American people piss and moan about how, I need more unemployment. I need a housing voucher program. It's a disgrace, man. It's an utter disgrace. And I think that the only thing that's going to help this country is that all the illegal immigrants that are in this country right now get nationalized. All the illegal immigrants in this country get, citizenship so that they can start paying taxes, so that they can get new credit lines, so that they can get new bank accounts and home mortgage loans and all this other nonsense, so that we can replenish this damn depleted, credit defaulted economy. because that's what we're living in, some kind of credit defaulted economy that doesn't look like it's going anywhere because the American people don't seem like they're taking the initiative to get up off their fat asses and do something about it. I mean, look at China, for heaven's sake. This is one of the most authoritarian, bureaucratic governments on the face of the planet, and yet they are providing substance. And this is how dangerous China is to the rest of us that care about our freedom. China is providing a model to the leftists to show how bureaucratic centralization can work in capitalist international relations. I mean, think about that for a minute. I mean, this is why you've got these leftists that are in power today quoting Mao Zedong. Because look at what Mao Zedong's little experiment has transpired to. It's one of the fastest growing civilizations in world history. Fastest growing civilizations. They have been able to modernize themselves within a span of 60 years to the point where they are now surpassing modernization of America. The Chinese are surpassing the modernization of America. And if you don't believe me, take a YouTube search about anything China. Beijing, China. Take a look at the skylines out there. Take a look at the technology. Take a look at the news reports coming out of China. They just recently test flight their new stealth bomber. They've got stealth bombers now. They're sending people into space. They've got new teleportation technology. Why don't you Google that, you morons, when you think that America is so great and we've got the greatest scientists and we've got the greatest this and the greatest that. Take a look at now that you got China being able to teleport actual matter. Yeah, I bet you missed that news report, didn't you? Google it up yourself. Meanwhile, we're here in America, hoping that this disgusting, despicable, publicly funded education system is going to somehow spawn some creative renaissance within our youth of America. That's just laughable. It's just unbelievably laughable. And that's why I'm telling everybody in America, whether you're young, especially the young, especially the youth out here that are disgusted by their peers, that are out here looking at their peers, having sexual orgies, shitting out children, going out there and indulging in all these ridiculous activities. I know it's hard for you to not do it, but don't do it. You've got the next 2 years. 2 years. That's the length of the extension of the Bush tax cuts and all these other little initiatives that this government took. You've got 2 years to accumulate as much capital as you can. You've got 2 years to do whatever it takes to make as much money as you can in the United States, because after that, folks, it's going to turn into a damn hellhole out here. And I'm not just saying that because I'm trying to be a hyper-sensationalist. Just look at the facts. I mean, what's going to happen when all these people that are collecting unemployment and, housing voucher programs and food cards and, going into all these stupid free programs? I mean, take a look at it for yourself. The websites are out there. Take a look at all the free programs people are qualifying for, and they're literally making more money than any middle-class person working their tails off in today's America. And then we wonder why the middle class is shrinking. You see a hard-working middle-class person busting their ass 40 hours a week looking at some loser who's done nothing more than fill out some bureaucratic paperwork so they can get all these damn entitlements, and yet they're making more getting entitlements tax-free than somebody busting their ass out there in the middle class. This is why we're losing, folks. This is why America is being flushed down the toilet. And when this all goes away, all right, when all the entitlements go away, because we're going to have to cut, folks. I mean, isn't that the focal point of the supposedly Republican takeover of the Congress, right? We're going to cut. We're going to cut spending, even though, this extension of the Bush tax cuts, had a bunch of pork on it from people that said they're not going to put pork in bills anymore. But, politicians, they're scumbag liars. I mean, do you understand at some point they're going to have to cut because the deficit is too large? And we cannot default on our debt, folks. If we default on our debt, it's chaos. It's over. Government shutdown. I mean, even the government bureaucrats aren't going to get paid. So just imagine that type of scenario, and that scenario is coming. We've just put a Band-Aid on it for 2 years. We put a damn Band-Aid on it for 2 years, and that's about it. So that's why I'm strongly advising everybody, especially the youth of America, go out there, bust your ass, save your cash, obtain as many assets as you possibly can, and get ready to get the hell out of here. And I'm not trying to say that, this country is, I love America. I just don't like American people anymore. They are the cause of all the disorder that's happening, economic, social, political. 2 years is all you have left, folks, to obtain as much revenue. And then what you need to do is take your revenue and invest it in an emerging market. And I guarantee you, you're going to, live a lot better in that emerging market, because just like that, young man who called earlier, who was from another country, who came here as a refugee trying to get away from war, these people have been through strife. People in emerging markets have seen strife that Americans have never even imagined. They couldn't even imagine. And they don't want to go back to that. They don't want to go back to strife. They don't want to go back to murder and killing. They want to come into civility. They want opportunity. And that's why I'm saying, folks, 2 years in America is all any aspiring entrepreneur, anybody who wants to make money, 2 years is all you have left, because it's going to turn into a freaking madhouse in America. Because once they start cutting all these programs, where are these people that are dependent on the government for money, where are they going to get their money? Where are they going to get their food? Where are they going to get their goods and all the bling-bling that they like to claim that they're having? They're going to go to your house. They're going to go to your house, and they're going to pillage your belongings. I can't think of any other suggestion. This is why we're seeing, folks, an incrementalism into authoritarianism. Because unfortunately, the American public, the majority of them, they're just sitting around waiting as opposed to taking action. And I want everybody who's listening to me, anybody who's a listener of my program, I want you to take action. Don't sit around and wait for somebody to give you a damn handout. Go out there and make it. And I'm going to be giving out opportunity. I'm going to be making suggestions. I'm going to be giving out advice. If you need anything, ghostpolitics@yahoo.com is the email. And, of course, this is the show to listen to. Anyway, folks, we got about 4 minutes left in the broadcast. I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me. This is the first edition of True Capitalist Radio, and definitely not the last. I don't know if I'm going to broadcast tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to broadcast Friday, but keep in mind that if you want to be the first one to know when I'm going to conduct these broadcasts, follow me on Twitter. The Twitter name to follow is Ghost Politics. All one word, no underscores. That's when I'll, send out the tweet on when I'm going to conduct these broadcasts, folks. And it's going to be pure capitalism from now on. All right? No BS. We're not going to sit here and embrace collectivism. We're going to embrace capitalist ideas. And there is enough capitalist endeavor to go around, folks. There's enough capitalist opportunities. We just have to stop this despicable government, and if this despicable government isn't going to stop, we need to get out of here. Us capitalists, we need to go to other emerging markets, more friendly markets, more investor-friendly. Because, let's be honest, folks, it's getting a little hard to do business in America. Like I said in the beginning of the program, all the regulations that have been enacted by this despicable liberal government as far as manufacturing toys, all right, if you want to become a toy manufacturer, you got to go through literally $1 million. That's what the tests cost. $1 million in tests so you can fulfill some bureaucratic paperwork that some imbecile wrote as safety measures for toys. You got to spend $1 million before you can put your manufactured toy on the market. And who has money to, spend $1 million on some tests to satisfy some bureaucrats? The multinationals. The people that manufacture the crap in China for pennies on the dollar and sell it to your children, you and your children, for like $50, $100 a pop. That's why every damn toy in America is made elsewhere. You're not going to see an American-made toy. You're not going to see it. And if you do, you better make sure that it was made before, 2010 or whatever the hell it was. And even then, they're taking a risk because this government is going to charge people that are selling toys that don't abide by the so-called bureaucratic test that has been enacted by these damn bureaucrats. I'm not joking, folks, and let me tell you something, this is just the beginning. We need to get government out of regulating business, and we need business to take forth and initiate investing and be able to bounce back this economy. But it's not going to happen, folks. That's why I'm saying 2 years is all you have left. Anyway, folks, I've got 1 minute left here in the program. I want to thank you very much for tuning in with me. Please spread the word about the True Capitalist Radio Show. Anybody that you know is having financial problems, anybody that you know is, has a business, dwindling on the point of bankruptcy, whatever the case might be, I want you to tell them about this show. I want you to tell them to give me an email, and I will give them advice that none of these assholes out here in real life is going to give them. It's realist advice, and that's what I want. I want capitalists everywhere. I want an army of capitalists listening in so that we can make something happen in this world, all right? Because it's economics, and it's only through economics is where change will actually happen. And as soon as there's a whole bunch of capitalists dominating the economic front, that's when we'll see true freedom, that's when we'll see true economic activity, and that's when we'll see a better society. Thank you very much for tuning in with me, folks. Long live capitalism and death to anything that's going to try to contradict or try to represent or try to be an alternative to capitalism. I'm out of here, folks. See you next time.
A Napa guy knows the only way you'd give a freshly minted driver a brand new car is if he promises to never drive it. Instead, let him grind the gears and knock over the neighbor's mailbox in something a little more suited to his skill level. And with over 400,000 parts and a little Napa know-how, he can safely drive something that's nearly as old as he is. It's not perfect, but it's perfect for him. That's Napa know-how.